This is the spikes off a crocodile's back. Apparently the sort of bigger, more gnarly bits are like not a product you can sell after the tanning process. Today we see the rest of the rise and the fall of Cambodia's epic crocodile industry. Alright guys, this is Cambodian crocodile farming. Let's go. Tonle Sap Lake is Cambodia's lifeline. It's this sprawling, murky giant that feeds and houses and sustains tens of thousands. And yeah, crocodile farms, they're kind of a big deal out here. So we are at what is essentially like the local village grocery store, and they happen to have a container of crocodiles just floating on the side of their house. It used to be incredibly prevalent in these villages. It's now dropping off a little bit. They also have a turtle down here, wow. As you get close to this crocodile enclosures, crazy, they just sort of have like baby ones sitting right here on the side of the ramp that goes up to it. Wow, this is kind of scary, I've got to admit. I've never walked across like a wooden plank with hundreds of crocodiles below me. This is kind of wild. They are just absolutely stacked one on top of each other. If you look in floorboards, I don't think you'd last that long, that's for damn sure. I wouldn't doubt that there are 200-300 crocodiles here. The crocs are fed up on unwanted fish and snakes, which are bycatch from the fishing industry. It's lunchtime, so we head across town to pick up some snakes. So guys, we're here to pick up lunch, not for us, but for the upcoming Cambodian industry of crocodile. But the way that they are caught here is in these kind of like intricate net traps. So there's sort of like a large funnel that's been built. It almost looks like a maze. It's not like it's just one big giant entrance. And then everything seems to funnel its way down to this one final enclosure. Snake eating is kind of popular here, but they're mainly after the pythons, it turns out. Oh, well, big python. I don't know what type of snake it is. It looks like some kind of big python, but they seem incredibly popular here. There are a ton of them at this market. Cool. Today, our croc farmer is after just water snakes, as many of them as we can get. Today we have like, I don't know, that's a good 3 or 4 kilos worth of snake right there. And these guys, I think they're going in the belly of some crocodiles. All right guys, it is feeding time. Wow, these crocodiles, you can hear them right away. They know what is up. Whoa. Wow, they're quick, huh? All right, here we go. My first time feeding a crocodile. Wow. You could easily put your foot through this thing. It ain't the strongest looking structure. And so much of Cambodia gets flooded, and the whole country is really like this giant bowl. Tonle Sap being the kind of epicenter of that. And these floating villages, they have to do everything on the water, but it is still surprising to see the kind of stuff that you see on the water here. I mean, there's churches, temples, snake sellers, schools, floating shops, everything you need for life here. Greenhouses, it just exists on the water because it has to. The food has to adapt as well. You can't have refrigeration, so you have to ferment or keep the animals alive. And if you have to keep the animals alive, it has to be something that can stay here for quite some time and not worry about water too much. And so in a weird way, crocodiles, they kind of make sense. I start to really get it. It seems simple, relatively low effort. These crocs really do seem very suited to this environment. It is, in fact, obviously, their natural home, their natural habitat. And that seems to be kind of the point, because I've seen these farms just about everywhere I've been in Cambodia. The rat hunting villages of the Mekong, the touristy areas of Siem Reap, these floating villages here on Tonle Sap. But the biggest, most industrial farms are in Battambang. Alright guys, welcome to Battambang. We are right here in a crocodile farm, and instantly this thing looks like far bigger than the floating village farms we were just witnessing. Dogs don't like the fact that I'm here. Check out all these babies. Wow, that is crazy. Wow, these are huge ones. It seems like he has a lot of crocodiles at the moment. Is it like the season or something?
Okay. Now they start to remove all the skin a lot because they don't really have money to feed the crocodile anymore.
So they're sort of killing them off at the moment.
They have to selling to get the skin for the profits.
How many skins does he think he has here right now?
It's 169 skins.
169 skins? Wow, that's crazy. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of sensory overload. We just walked through the door. There are hundreds and hundreds of crocodile skins sitting right here. And right now he's sort of in the process of killing off a lot of the larger crocs to sell into eventually Vietnam. So I believe we're gonna be able to see the entire process that they go through here. To process a full-grown crocodile into a skin, and then what they do with the rest of the creature. So what is it?
Crocodile intestine.
That's intestines?
Yes.
And inside, an unbelievable number of crocs. Thousands and thousands of them cramped together. Wow. Now this facility is huge. This is absolutely crazy, guys. I thought that this was like one little kind of like dusty hole in the wall place, but this is a massive, massive crocodile farm. It is absolutely mind-blowing to me how many enclosures there are. It turns out it is crocodile catching time. There's a bunch of guys here. Looks like they're just busting open the enclosure. I don't know, this looks kind of gnarly. We start by walking through the just maze of enclosures. The team of crocodile wranglers move completely at ease. They are armed with what at first looks like some kind of homemade cattle prod. It's this old oil can backpack with a bunch of wires, and it's all hooked up to this large bamboo pole with a steel hook at the end of it. Something tells me there is an electrical end that's about to happen to one of these poor guys. Man, it just looks so gnarly when it's so homebrewed. And believe it or not, this is pretty much the only thing they're going to use to wrangle an entire enclosure packed wall to wall with crocs. All right, guys, it's time to catch a crocodile. Boom, you got this, buddy. Our wrangler casually saunters into the pen, armed with nothing but his big zap stick and his big pair of steel balls. The crocs, meanwhile, they're not fans. They snap, hiss, and they thrash as he calmly works his way around the pen, steering them into the water like it's just another Tuesday. And once the pen is relatively clear, it's time to stun. That janky DIY zap stick is shockingly effective. It delivers enough current to knock out even the biggest crocs in just seconds. These crocs do not seem too happy. I mean, I wouldn't be either. Oh, wow. They are legging it around. But man, the sound that these guys make as they are snapping away, it is kind of wild. It's obviously not about just the gear. It takes a lot of guts to be here. Whoa, that was kind of crazy. This is insane. These guys just kind of like bust in with this electrified hook of some kind. They're able to pin a number of these crocodiles down. Strangely enough, they don't seem all that worried about whether they're touching the crocodile at the same time. It does not seem to be the safest method. Once they're out, it's a race to kind of tie them off, haul them off, and get them to the processing area. They're dragged out from the water by the heads, flipped, hands are bound, teeth are held closed just in case with these massive rubber bands, and they are hauled off to the processing area. It's like hands tied behind the back, everything. Some of them it seems like they're gone, as others it's just kind of like they're shocked, they're tied up, but there seems to be the full mix in there as well. Kind of crazy. I don't know if I can get past this entrance or not. You think he's gone? You think it's safe for me to walk past? I might lose a leg. There is no time wasting. You've got to kill hundreds of crocodiles every single day. I guess we see how that goes down. I don't know how much you're gonna see in this YouTube cut, but the finish is quick. A single hit with an axe. All right, these guys have been quickly dispatched and I'm relatively impressed. I've seen a lot of butchery out there in the past, and usually it's the case of a bunch of dudes holding down a pig as they slowly take it apart with a knife. And it ain't all that pleasant, honestly. But these guys, it is one quick foul swoop with an axe from an already stunned crocodile, and really, I don't know. I've seen a lot of slaughter in my days, and there's definitely worse ways to go. Processing the croc is done in reverse. It starts with a long cut down the back. This leaves the prized belly skin completely untouched. Then the feet come off and the skinning begins. They use these curved blades, and the team carefully separates the hide from the flesh, keeping it in one large piece. They move fast, and before long the entire skin, this massive piece of Siamese crocodile, is removed. Alright guys, and there it is. That is the final product, what really all of this is about, because there's not all that much money in the meat that's going to be eaten locally here in the villages, maybe to a couple of tourists in Siem Reap, but that skin right there could be worth thousands. This is the spikes off a crocodile's back. Apparently the sort of bigger, more gnarly bits are like not a product you can sell after the tanning process. The premium cuts, they go straight to these giant orange coolers at the entrance, while the intestines and the offcuts, well, they're already being prepared for us to eat at the end of this episode. These guys have been at it for an absolute minute now, like to get those 4 or 5 crocs down to sort of edible, sellable pieces of skin. Man, it has taken a while. Tricky stuff and pretty skilled labor. The hundreds and hundreds of skins that have been processed over the past few weeks are finally going to be carted off today. The smaller skins are rolled up into tightly packed bundles and packed with salt. While the larger ones are laid flat, and they cover every inch of this kind of wild Mad Max style van. Where are they headed? Through Siem Reap, and ultimately to Vietnam, where they will be tanned and turned into leather goods. But the best croc farming days for Cambodia, they seem to be behind us. These days, the luxury market's been kind of locked down by luxury brand owned farms in Australia and in Zimbabwe. These high-end farms use super harsh techniques like solitary confinement in tiny enclosures so that they keep the skins completely scratch-free. And you also had other pressures. Places like Thailand and Vietnam, they modernized in a way to keep up with Singapore and Australia in a way that these Cambodian farms just didn't. These guys were doing it sort of pretty old school. See what we'll be looking into today. It's pretty bare bones. They're kind of keeping all the crocs here together in these large enclosures. There's plenty of room for them to get scuffed and marked up. They're not keeping the crocodiles graded and sort of farming the ones off for meat that don't have the real symmetrical patterns on them. They're letting them grow way past what is a viable product for the really detailed high-end bags and wallets. Once they get big like this, I mean, there's just not as much market value. Meanwhile, the mid-tier skins have mostly shifted to Vietnam and Thailand, and the Cambodian farmers, they've been getting squeezed out. Prices here have tanked, demand has shifted, and a lot of these farms, like the one we're at today, they've had to shut down because they just can't compete. Basically, these Cambodian farmers, they tried to wait out the market and they got stuck with just monsters. You hear the same story from the owners. I can't keep it up anymore. These guys, they need too much meat. It's time for me to sort of sell off. And some people might see this as a win. They don't like it. But what I see is the loss of a traditional food source from a native animal. One that's fed villages, provided extra income from skins, and that was able to thrive in Cambodia's unique environment in a way that most non-native livestock ever could. It's a tough beat. I really wish that in some way there was the information for them to modernize, to hang in with this business. It's something, again, that's been done here for a long time. They eat the meat, they could sell the leather for a lot, and it makes a lot of sense here. But really, I think it could be it for Cambodia's leather industry, or at least its crocodile leather industry. Oh, some kind of fruit. Can I try some? Oh. Wow, thank you guys. I dip it in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Hey guys, some kind of random fruit. Oh, that's spicy. It's really spicy. It's good though. It's a little bit sour, like a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
Big seed in the middle of it. I have no idea what that is. Let me know in the comments. We have crocodile jerky drying. Apparently this is often how they just preserve the excess crocodile meat, the stuff that is stuck under the skin that they, can't sell commercially to the market. Crocodile jerky, hell yeah, let's rock. I've had crocodile before, but not in anything that you'd consider like a traditional or authentic way. So I was pretty excited to try it here. Here in Battambang, the locals are about using absolutely every part of the animal, especially the offcuts. Those larger muscles, they're gonna be sold off to the cities and restaurants, and what stays here will ultimately become jerky or boiled intestines. And so while we were processing, the soup has been kind of cooking away. Wow, okay, so what is it?
Crocodile intestine.
That's intestines?
Yes.
What kind of intestines?
That is the stomach, and this one, the long one, is the intestine.
So the stomach and the intestines. Like the small intestine. All right, cool. All right, and it's cooking with like lemongrass?
Lemongrass and lamb leaf, oyster sauce, sugar, yeah, palm sugar, and a little bit of fish sauce again.
All right, sounds good. Looks like some mystery lime. Does she usually cook like this?
Yes, it's usually cooked like that.
And how often do they eat crocodile?
In a few days,
Every few days?
Every few days.
And everything is kind of combined into this slow cook process. The intestines are boiled down until pretty much all of the water evaporates, and it leaves behind this rich caramelized brown broth that the intestines are kind of soaking in. To go with it, the jerky is grilled, giving it just enough heat to soften it up and make it like chewable. And there it is, Battambang boiled croc stomach and jerky. Time to dig in. Oh wow, thank you so much. All right guys, I am pretty excited. It looks like, first of all, we've got some of this crocodile jerky. I'm not sure what's on it. I think probably some lemongrass has been dried on the outside of it. It is kind of like rock solid, like that is some hard jerky, but let's give it a go. It's very chewy. I always say that crocodile kind of has a fishy taste, and this definitely does. It's got like that kind of like weird reptile-y, fatty flavor, a little bit of fish. The lemongrass in this comes through. Honestly, that is super unique. Like, I've had crocodile before. It sort of just tastes a little bit similar to other meats, but this preparation like this, just eating it dried, not cooked at all. I mean, I suppose it's been warmed up, but that is really, really crazy. Some of the smaller bits have really crisped up. Like, they've grilled it a fair bit actually, and it just kind of flakes away. That tastes a little bit like pork crackling there. That's a decent bite. Where are we going to put this? Yeah, how about I just put it here? Oh, bucket's good. Bucket's good. I like the ingenuity here. They've told me this is the way that is their favorite way to cook crocodile. It's like maybe a more of a traditional Khmer way to do it. We have the crocodile intestines and some of the stomach, and then we have here something that looks like some seriously spicy chilies, and of course, because we are in Cambodia, the famed prahok. I mean, as if it's not gnarly enough on its own. Man, that has like some serious kick to it. I'm gonna eat one piece straight up, and then we're gonna go for prahok. We might ignore the chilies. You know what? That's really pretty good. It's kind of like, I suppose, just has like a really meaty flavor. It's a little bit chewy, but it's not kind of like, you don't have to work it. And now for some with the spicy prahok. And prahok itself, usually it's got some of that like real heavy flavor to it. Oh wow. Yeah, prahok is like fishy, spicy, flavor overload. That's how you add flavor to anything. That intense saltiness from the fish and just the mammoth amounts of salt that is literally shoveled into it. If you want to really pack something with flavor, prahok is the way to do it. That might be the most intense, salty, spicy overload that you can get. There you have it, crocodile here in Cambodia. Crocodile intestines, crocodile jerky, not a bad way to do it. Guys, that is it for this episode on croc farming here in Cambodia. But if you're interested in what happens to these crocs, then I did a video in Vietnam that kind of picks up where this one left off. It is somewhere on this screen now. Check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.